Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvisha vahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yasya prasadadahameva Vishnu Mayeva sarvam parikalpidam cha Idham vijanami sadatmarupam Tasyang kripatmam pranadosmi nityam. So that surrender only is which will make you understand a little bit. But among all the books I read, Gurudev had given better explanation. So you read Gurudev's book, and today we'll hear him also. Then I am hoping it will become very clear. Okay? Okay, now he says here, 44. Dukkham sarvam anusmritya kama bhogan nivartayed. That we saw already. That is easy to know. Because having the pratipaksha bhavana, you come to a conclusion that all these kama bhoga and all that will only lead to sorrow in the end. Or sometime in the process of the enjoying it also, you may get into great sorrow. So, dukkham sarvam anusmritya. Anusmritya means, as I told you the other day, anu word means continuously remembering. That is nididhyasana. Not once in a way, when you are hit by something only you remember, then afterwards you again forget, you know. In the world it is like that. But not like that. Always remember in your mind, these are all traps to make me unhappy. That anusmriti, continuous contemplation on it will give you the strength to know bhogan nivartaye, the vairagyam will come to it. Only person who has vairagyam can do that anusmriti. He can continuously say, these are all very silly pleasures. These are not going to be a permanent achievement. It is only at this level, at the lowest level of our existence. So, this continuous remembrance, ajam sarvam anusmritya jadam naiva dupashyati. And when that mind which is detached from the world of OET and PFT, etc., and turned towards the remembrance of that pure consciousness, about which we have discussed in detail in the last class. So, that pure consciousness, when you go on remembering it, ajam, unborn, and sukha surupa, its nature is sukham, not an acquired sukham, but its own nature is sukham. Once we go on thinking about it, you withdraw from the sarvam anusmritya jadam naiva dupashyati. One doesn't see this relative world, one does not see this mithya world which is born. In other words, born means which has appeared and it will disappear. Even the Lord, when He appears to His devotees, He has to disappear, is it not? Let it be Dhruva or Prahlada, whoever it be, he comes and he disappears. That which is born, jadasya hi dhruvo mrityu. Okay, so we must understand, having always thinking about that ajam, unborn, samyam, all those words are used there, that ultimate goal of our life, that pure consciousness, Brahman, sarvam anusmritya jadam naibadu pashyati. Then when I look at the world, it's what can I say? An understanding that this is all mithya and it is not going to be permanent. The sukhas that you get in the world, the dukkhas that you experience in the world, both have no tangibility. They are all the products of your mind, and it will never be there for long. So that is why even in the greatest sorrow, you must find the... What can you find? What will you do? That sorrow also will pass. Otherwise we won't be living. Suppose you have great sorrows, great tragedies, great anything. Everybody should die then. We don't die. We say in Malayalam, Adi Jeevik. We will go transcend that sorrow also. Oh, there is nothing permanent about them. Continuously remembering everything is dukkham sarvam, kshanigam sarvam in the Buddhist language. Dukkham sarvam, sarvam dukkham. Sarvam kshanigam. Kshanigam means momentary. Whatever pleasures we have is only momentary pleasures. They will come, they will go. What is our sorrow? That they are going. What is the sorrow? That it is changing. The person will change. The experiences will change. But we are sorrowful about it. All this is... And Arjuna naturally asked Chanjalam, Himana Krishna, how can I meditate? After all, the mind doesn't stay in one alambanam continuously. What should I do? Then he says, yes, you are right. Like any good teacher, Krishna also says, you are right. Teachers must say like that only. But you are not really right. You are right and not right. Chanjalam himana Krishna. You are right in when say mind is disturbed always and it is agitated mind, chanjalam. But Krishna says by vairagya and by abhyasa you can again and again bring it to the point of, to the object of meditation. Whenever the mind goes away from the point of meditation, become aware. And to become aware only, you have to constantly be there in that thought. Become aware. And the rest of the meditation process is be aware of even a whisper of anything within your inner body, in the inner self. Even a whisper you must be able to hear. We are not able to hear anything, In meditation, how many hear the heartbeat? Tell me. Quickly she said no. Don't ask further questions. In that way. You understand? You will hear, provided the concentration is very, very much there. Then you will hear. You have withdrawn the mind from all the worldly preoccupations outside. You can hear cluck, cluck, cluck. You can hear the, I don't know, some sound is there, like the ocean, some sound. Have you heard that? An ocean. As though the ocean is making the aravam, we say, the sound we can hear. But that is all for people who are practicing for a long time. In fact, if you hold like this, you can hear the ocean. Why? Because this is a vacuum. This is a vacuum. So if you hold this, some funny sound is vacuum. So here he says, this is a very beautiful verse. The next one, but though difficult to explain. Laye sambhodaye chittam vikshiptam shamayet punaha sakashayam vijaniyat samapraptam na chalayet. I mean, any teacher cannot tell you more instructions than this. He has tried his best to tell you how he is doing it. But unfortunately, we are not in his shoes. That is the problem. We are in our own little chappals. Do you understand? So we don't understand at all what the Gaudapada is driving us to understand. He says, Leye sambhodaye chittam. The moment in meditation when the mind is going to go into deep sleep, into dissolution, into laya. The moment you understand that, how will you understand? Because I am aware, intensely aware of the mind and the breathing. You are conscious, you must be. See, when I take meditation, why I tell you, become aware of your breath. First step is, become aware of your breath. Why you have to be aware of the breath? Because when you become aware of the breath, you are not aware of the outer world. Become aware. And then you will, the moment you become aware of your breath, conscious breathing it is called. Now we are breathing unconsciously all the time. That time you breathe consciously. And when you breathe consciously, there is one wonderful thing for the breath. It starts becoming harmonious. Harmonious breath is a breath where the mind is very, very pure. There is no agitation. And even when you are ordinarily in your life also, when you are very peaceful, the breathing comes harmoniously. When you are disturbed, then anger comes, jealousy comes, hatred comes, envy comes. Whatever comes, what happens? The breath comes in gasps. And sorrow comes. But the breathing is not harmonious. Here what happens in meditation, when you start watching the breath, after withdrawing the mind from the world outside, it becomes very harmonious. And I am aware of the breath. It's coming and going. It enters through my nostrils into my lungs. And the lungs become filled with air. And then again when I am leaving it, the air is passing through the windpipe, through the nostrils, outside. In other words, go with the breath. Not merely watching. I know you are watching what it is. Mind will be somewhere. Sometimes. Not always. In other words, all other preoccupations are dropped. And I am watching who is watching? I am watching the mind. Let us say. Who is watching? Sakshi is watching. There is no ego is put at rest. That is why when we say withdraw, withdrawal is what? That I have no identity. I am nobody. I tell that also, Give up all your identity. Identity is created by the ego only. So I am nobody. In that seat of meditation, I am nobody. And you watch. And watching is, who is watching? That question is never answered. Some may say ego, he may be right also. Some people will be watching from the point of ego. Particularly if they have only ego, such a king-sized ego, it covers. Then they will be watching from that level only. There are two ways of watching. One is you give up, you put the ego to rest and then watch through the consciousness. But here, when we say meditation, you watch the breath, we are meaning the consciousness. Watch. Why can't it be ego then? Jiva. Somebody will be watching. Intellect is the seat of ego. And you are watching from the intellect, the seat of ego. Then, so there is, even in that watching, there is so many adjustments to be made. You understand? It's not I, the son of my father or whatever is watching, but I am conscious of, when we say you are not watching from the ego level. I am watching from the consciousness level. That which is illumining the consciousness, the pure consciousness, from that level I am watching. Ego only arrogates itself to whatever experience it gets. But when you will see, you watch the breath, and then you watch the body, then you watch, that is, you watch the worship of the Lord in your mind, mental worship, that also you watch, and then you watch the mind. And I don't know, in my meditation there is no ego. In my meditation means I myself have cooked up this type of meditation. It should not be there. If meditation is done by the ego, then you are not going to reach anywhere. So who is watching? Maybe intellect is watching. Intellect also has to be dropped in the final. Okay, so laye sambhodaye chitta. I am aware that my mind is getting into sleep. It's a sleepy mind. Then what should you do when you are meditating? First obstacle is layam. So it is going to go into sleep, and many people do also during meditation. When it is going to get into sleep, by what can I say? By making the mind aware of it, must stop it. How to stop it, if you ask, I can't say. Each one will have different ways of stopping it. It is all individual. I practiced it for many months, then the sleep that used to come in the initial stages of meditation stopped. Because I become aware and say, no, this is meditation time. This is not sleep time. You understand? You go on telling self, what do you call? Suggestion. Auto-suggestion. Okay, I am not now in my bed. Which probably you should do here also. Become aware when it goes to sleep. Become aware. That is the point. You become aware of the onslaught of sleep, and then stop it. Stop it consciously. Sambhodayet. I make the mind to wake up. This is not the time to sleep. This is the time for meditation. When thoughts unnecessarily interfere in your mind as you are trying to meditate, then you tell the mind also, this is not the time to think, I am not thinking with you. You get out. Gurudev used to say, get out to the mind. Tell, get out to the mind. I am not now here to talk with you. I am going into meditation. Become acutely conscious of your breathing, acutely conscious of the process through which it is passing through. These adjustments one has to make oneself. Hence I told you, I cannot help you there. But become conscious of everything. What is happening in your inner instruments, what is happening in the outer body, become acutely conscious. Forget the world outside. This is how we start the meditation usually. And then he says, Chittam sambodhayed. If the state of this oblivion, it is a state of oblivion, we awaken the mind. We ourselves say, now come on, become jagrat. And what is it? Uttishta, jagrata. It's a sort of telling the mind to wake up. Don't go into sleep now. And after much practice, many days of practice, many months of practice, the mind understands that when we sit in meditation, it should not sleep. How it will know? That all I don't know. It knows. And it doesn't. Now when I sit in meditation, the mind says, if I don't sit in meditation, it says, why are you not sitting in meditation now? The mind says. Before it used to say, why meditation? There no better work. Like that it used. But now the mind has understood you mean business, and when it knows you mean business, it comes your way. And in quiet instant. Okay. Become aware. Awake means, does not mean you open your eyes and look at everybody. Not that. Aware means, in my mind. I am not going into deep sleep. That is all. And vikshiptam shamet punaha. Suppose the mind has got vikshiptam. Vikshiptam means all types of vikshepam. Vikshepam, distractions. When agitated, vikshiptam means vikshiptam manaha, agitated mind, because it has got some problem. So it is not it is samata ilya, not samata. Such a mind, vikshiptam manaha, give auto-suggestion to both this. Vikshiptam shamayet punaha, you pacify the mind. Never fight with the mind. Why? Because mind is a very, very subtle instrument. It cannot be shouted at. So you say, nice you are. Like you tell the babies, nice, my little baby, why you are crying? Like that we shamayet. We pacify the mind. They say, not that I don't want to hear you. I'll hear you after this session of meditation. Give a sort of suggestion. And if you keep quiet, I'll give you a reward. You understand? There are 100 ways of... If you are really behaving yourself, like we tell the child, mind is like a baby. You tell the child, if you don't trouble mama, you'll get a chocolate. Immediately you'll ask when? At 4 o'clock. He will go away. Whatever he was troubling you, he will go away. In the same way. In the mind. And if it disturbs you, you say, if you disturb me, I'll tell you I will not eat food in the night. Just tell that to the mind. The mind is afraid of your fasting. Why? Anybody can tell? Mind also has this food only, no other food. That is why when you don't eat for one full day or 2 days, the mind stops working. Mind cannot work without food. So what is the punishment? I am the one who is going to take food. But the mind is the one who is going to suffer by my not taking the food. Like I don't know whether my Guruji, who taught me, Swami Chidananda, whenever any of the students misbehave or indisciplined, he will not say anything to them, but he won't take food. See, we are so disturbed by that. We cannot take food also. Because our teacher won't take food. How can we take food? You understand that some such trick has to be used to control the mind. And says, now if you are going to be agitated like this, I will punish you. And if you say, I won't eat food, then it will come round. Even now you can try it, any day. If you are doing sadhana. Let us say you are doing sadhana. And then you say, for the next 1 week, I will not criticize anybody. That is one thing we have to practice. I will not criticize anybody. If I fail any day, that day I will not eat. Just to tell that to the mind, it will be so aware, you will never criticize. If at all, accidentally, by force of habit, you criticize, then you have to take fast. You don't say, unless you mean it. This is how mind is controlled. If you do like that, I will do like this, like that. It's a constant conversation between you and your mind. And then I can tell you one thing, it really comes the way you want it. It becomes malleable. Okay, this is all by the way, what I have experienced sometimes, I am telling you. Shamayet punah, don't, and now vikshiptam shamayet punaha. If there is agitation in the mind, somehow or other pacify it. No, it is okay. Tomorrow you will be so good. You are such a nice mind. Like that we have to praise the mind. That praising is called shamayet. Shandikarna. What do you call it? We pacify it. Sakashayam. What is kashayam? All malam, dirt in the mind. All types of undigested thoughts is called kashayam. Kashayam does not mean orange color. Kashayam means in the state of mind we say, when in between we understand full of desires. What a kashaya? All the desires and the unmanifested desire you can't see. But something is troubling my mind. What it will be usually? Some desire for something. Or any of the negative, kama, krodha, some jealousy is disturbing. In which case, what do? The vikshipta, the agitation is due to the kashayam only. Because there are impurities in the mind is agitated. Impure mind is an agitated mind. So impurities are there. And what are the impurities? They are called kashayam. Sakashayam means with kashayam, with impurities. What impurities? All these desires, yet unmanifested, but full of potential in it. Capable of destroying your mental peace. That desire fulfillment becomes the aim and goal of life. So which mind is a happy mind now? Mind without mind which is pure mind, which is happy mind, which is a light mind. Which mind? Without any kashayam. Okay? When kashayam is not there, agitations are not there. When agitations are not there, it is a pure mind. Only in a pure mind you are going to know that. So how very important it is to make the mind pure. Agitated mind is impure mind, and agitation comes because of the kashayam. So kashayam has to be some, how will I control the desires? Again we will ask. To control the desires, there should be jnanabhyasam and vairagyam. Two things are required. Jnanabhyasam should be there. Jnanabhyasam, why? Because the scripture tells that, the teacher tells you that unless and until you go on practicing what is said in the scripture, you cannot get the vairagyam. Viveka, vairagyam goes together. So practicing nitya vastu vivekam. And then you will get vijaniyat sakashayam. Vijaniyat. Vijaniyat means become aware. Not that know it as my mind only. Not know it as something else. Vijaniyat means I understand the mind in that state. What state? Sakashaya. Okay. Then vijaniyat means I know. Is the mind yet and we understand. Vijaniyat there means what? We understand that the mind has got very many impurities in it, and how to stop this vichebam? Only by removing the dirt from the mind. And the dirts are usually kama, krodhadi. They are all kashaya. Vijaniyat samapraptam nacha. And now when the mind has become purified and there is no vichebam and there is not even layam. Layam is conquered. And then vicheba is come to almost nil. And kashayam are all there. No desire, desireless, egoless state it is. And that has happened. What will happen? Samaprapya. It goes into contemplation. It goes into that higher state of dhyanam. What is dhyanam? Dhyanam is always in Vedanta. The Jiva Brahma, whoever is at the mind, understands the oneness of itself with the Paramatma. That state, having reached that, don't disturb. It is a state of equilibrium, samadam gada, said before. It has come to a state of equilibrium. Such a mind you should not disturb. Atma samstam manakritva na kinchidapi chintayat. Because any other chinta, any other thought will again disturb the mind. And again you will have to start all over again. So be careful. In other words, you have to be consciously doing all these things. Unlike other sadhanas, this sadhana with the antakarana is very, very subtle. One has to be all the time aware. And one has to be aware means one should not be aware of the world of plurality outside. Moved away. Asparsha yoga. What is that? Asparsha yoga. And what is that? Ajadi. When we are going to reach all this? See, you should not take it that way. Suppose you are teaching a child to swim. You take her to a coach. And the coach will say, do like this, hold your hand like this, hold your leg like this when you fall into the water. And then you must not go down Dubai. then no coming back. So all the instructions the coach will give. Only the instructions coach can give. Finally the child has to jump into that water body, and when it jumps, it forgets all the instructions. Because the one thing that he will remember is that he has to keep himself alive. There, in you there is that desire to survive. And the child will start putting, what does the coach said 1, 2, 3, 4, that all forgotten. And in here also you will forget all that. What we say, when you really become, enter into that state of oneness with the pure consciousness, you will also forget all that I said. Mala goes and the agitation goes, everything goes, the ego is set to rest, and then you, for a moment, you know you are in a different world and a different experience altogether. If the child refuses to jump, the coach just pushes him into it. And who is the coach in the state of spiritual seekers? The teacher push you into it. Our Gurudev says in his biography somewhere that how suppose Maharaj pushed him into the beyond. The beyond is the ocean of bliss. How he pushed him into the beyond. That's the only time he had mentioned about his realization. At no other time he never said, and in none of the books, 300 or odd books he had written, nowhere he had said, I have realized. But this one line is there. Pushed me into the beyond. Okay, so sakashayam vijaniyat vijaniyat samapraptan na chalaye. Don't again disturb it. Don't again wake it now. You wake it when it is asleep, but not now. Now you are in samadhi. You must not wake up. You must not ask it to get up. It's like going into sleep. Usually, we don't know how, when we go to sleep and all, we get into the bed. But suppose somebody says, please let me know at what time exactly you slept. What will happen? What will happen? He won't go to sleep all night because he will be watching the time. At what time? Who knows? We have forgot that is a timeless state. Going into sleep itself is a timeless state. Going into samadhi, definitely timeless, egoless, vasanaless state. We don't know. You just glide into it. Okay. While there is a state, don't disturb. Now, yado nischarati manaschanjalam astiram. Again and again, in case mind cannot hold on like this, again and again it falls. Again and again you bring it back to the thought of the highest. The meditated must be, you must bring it again and again to the remembrance of the meditated. Suppose you cannot remember, some other thought came and you forgot. Again you have to redo everything, and again and again he says here, yato, whenever the mind goes out, at that time you bring it back. And now Gurudev had given here, manifestation of vasanas is vikshepa. What is manifestation? Please note it down somewhere, because manifestation of vasanas in the form of agitation is called vikshepa. But unmanifested vasana in the mind is called kashayam. Kashayam is what? Kashayam is what? The seedal form. In the seed form it is there. Desires in seedal form. That is called kashayam. But when it disturbs the mind and the mind starts up and down, then it is called kashayam. So sakashayam mind means unmanifested desire, manifestation of vasanas. And unmanifested vasana is kashaya. Okay. Atma samstam manakrutva na kinchidapi chintayed. And also, later on, he will say in the end of Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. Which dharma? Dharma, dharma and all are only in the Vyavaharika world. You will give up all your preoccupation with them and come to me. Mamekam sharanam praja. This is called total surrender. Just as a Bhakti Margi surrenders to the Lord of his heart, with the Vedantic student surrenders to that highest goal of his life. Totally. And then meditation will happen. After having said all that, layam should be overcome by jnanabhyasam and vairagyam, and vikshiptam, withdraw from kama bhoga with discrimination. Kama and bhoga is vikshipta, is it not? Manifestation of desires. Kashayam, be alert, for vasanas may rise up. So be alert that no vasana display. That we have to be, in all three cases you have to be alert. Alertness is the key to real meditation. Alertness should. Na swadayet sukham tatra nisanga prajnaya bhavet nischalam nischarachittam egi kuryat prayatnadaha naswadayet sukham tatra. This way in Vedanta we call it rasaswadam. Rasaswadam means the one who enjoyer of what? The joy of meditation. Because meditation experience brings along with it, even if you are going closer to that, you feel a certain amount of peace and tranquility in yourself. Sukha sangam is there. That is called sukha sangenam. Sattvic mind will be affected by sukha sangam. It becomes attached to that sukha. So when you are meditating, suddenly you find mind is so peaceful. So I am getting it. No? Do you feel that sometimes? When you sit and there is no thought at all. And you say, now I have achieved, I have become Brahman. No. That is only rasaswada. Rasaswada means either enjoyer is still there and the enjoyment is still there. And the enjoyed happiness of meditation also is there. These three are thrubuddhi. Thrubuddhi means? Enjoyer enjoyed, enjoyment is there. So whenever you are sitting in meditation and you are feeling, oh, now I have really realized. If you think like that, immediately you get up. That's what Gurudev had written in Meditation and Life. Because that is not a real happiness. It is only a reflection of the happiness of meditation. The reflection, in the sense, it will go as soon as you finish meditation. So what is the use of some joy which comes only when you are meditating, not afterwards? You understand? That type of joys are plenty here. In Sokale, Sukham. Afterwards, sometimes mostly Dukham. Oh, that is not the truth. In other words, even in that last but one moment, You can be hoodwinked. That is what it means. It means that joy which appears is only a reflected joy. Where there is the tributary, where the enjoyer is, there enjoyment. So you are an enjoyer means you have not reached the state of egolessness. Have you understood this? This is very important. Rasa swadam, we say. Rasa swadam is a next obstacle in the path of meditation. Suddenly you feel, I am so peaceful, I think I have become Brahman now. This is it. What is your idea then? This is what I am striving for. And you take the, what is asli, what do you say? Nakli, asli and all. Asli. Yes. You take the nakli as asli. Not real bliss. Bliss never leaves you. Once you realize that bliss, it is ever with you. It is not a coming and going happiness. The rasa swadam is a coming and going happiness. Why you are feeling then happy? Because a peaceful mind. Because you have stopped all the disturbances in you. And hence you feel a type of peace. Many people are satisfied only with that and they call it meditation. So be warned, says the teacher. That is not real meditation. That is only a wayside. And some other people gain great siddhis. And we should not avoid that. On the way they get great siddhis also. What is happening to me? Understand? Some will get all types of siddhis they get. Anima, Adi, Ashta siddhi. Eightfold siddhi will come to them. Not everybody will get. Now don't think, my meditation is all nothing I see. You are blessed. That's why you don't see anything. If you are seeing, you will be seeing that only and you will lose sight of that. You understand? That siddhis are a greatest trap. So also is this so-called happiness you experience in meditation. It is also a nakli joy. A joy which is not permanent but a adavantau, which has got a beginning and a end. Adavanta, whatever is beginning, has beginning and end, cannot be the true thing. Then how do I know I have realized? Why should you know? You just realize, that's all. Then you will know. That teacher who had realized, he is not going to tell you what he felt at that moment of realization. No teacher will tell you. You understand that? So, if you want to know, you reach there, then you will know. Gurudev will say like that. You also reach, then you will know. But on the way, these are the great, on the road there are potholes. There are so many potholes in that path to the final denouement of the meditation. There are so many potholes. Like layam will come and then kashayam is there which will agitate the mind. Agitation will come. By the time you are took care of that agitation, then another thing comes. Now everything is taken care of. Then there is so much joy. Then you think this is it. This is not it. How do you know that? That I don't know. I cannot tell you. That each one, all alone to the alone. You cannot take the teacher or anybody there. All alone you have to walk that last step. Why it is said that the last steps are very difficult is because of this. There are some mirages happening to you. And this sukha is one such happiness. If you teach yoga to the Westerners, it's very easy. When they come, because they, in their lives, they know always the agitated people, just running from one thing to another. So if they reach this much peace, they think they have arrived. The teacher says, no, you are not arrived. Not arrived. Nisangaha, naswadayet sukham tatra. There, Maya, outer Maya goes, but the inner Maya starts. And say, I am not experiencing Anandam. I am Anandam. Is it not? What is that Anand? What is that Rasaswadam? I am experiencing Anandam. So I am different. Anandam is different. Then you must tell them, because you have learned so many scriptures, so many Upanishads. No, I am not in my Anandamaya Kosham. I am Ananda. Tell yourself again and again. Anando Vaisaha. Untitled Upanishad. He is Anandam. He is not Anandamaya Kosha. And what is that rasa that you experience in meditation? Is only Anandamaya Kosha. But Anandamaya Kosham is in deep sleep. Why are you saying? No, Anandamaya Kosham need not be only in deep sleep. Even in your vikar, you can experience Anandamaya, Modam, Pramodam, Harsham, all those. So any time you can experience. Now all the vrittis have stopped. There is no thoughts rising. Then that's a state of utter tranquility, and hence you feel so happy. But a happiness of which you are aware of is not the real. Then what is it? I am happiness. If you are aware that, then you have arrived. Otherwise, no. There they will stop. Many people stop in the door of truth. So Gurudev writes in Meditation and Life, when you reach that state of the door of truth, then you cry and weep and pray. Because no other way, no more you can make an effort. You have brought me till here, oh Lord, please help me now to that last step. You only must hold me and take me in. Thus they pray, the great bhaktas, even the jnanis. What more I can do, because Paramatma must reveal himself to you. Hence it is difficult. The Christian mystics, who are also Jnanamargis, they say that is the dark night of the soul. Before the light, Jnanalogam, we said in the previous verse, Jnanalogam, by that light of consciousness overpowers you. You are blissed out, as it were. Before that happens, there is a darkness, because you are feeling that you are not going to get it. And hence we call it the dark night of the soul. If you go in that last step also, you are in the light of consciousness. You are the light of consciousness. That oneness has come. Homogeneous it is. Egatma pratyaya saram will happen. Shantam Shivam Advaitam. Seventh verse only had taken half the Karika. Seventh mantra has taken half the Karika. And he says that you will reach. In the Gurudev writes here, mind should not be allowed to enjoy the bliss that is eked out of the condition of samadhi. That is, that which is created because of something is called a product. And because of what he is experiencing the rasaswadam is only because of the bliss experienced in samadhi. But that samadhi bliss is not always there. The moment you come out of samadhi, bliss is gone. Okay? So it is not avidya parikalpitam and mithya. It should be freed from attachment to such happiness through a steady exercise of discrimination and abhyasam. Jnanabhyasam is required. Do the jnanabhyasam. If the mind, having attained once the state of equanimity, seeks to rush out in the external objects, then it should be unified with the self again with self-effort. So what do you say? Now I have experienced Atman, so now let me go back to my way of life. Go into the outer world and start enjoying all the pleasures that you already left behind. Bah! At last, you think, and rush back to the same gullies. So, Gurudev says, the moment you start feeling happiness like that, you must get up. Don't meditate anymore. Next day you meditate. Okay, these are things which are unknown to us. What happens in that last lap of meditation? That Gurudev will tell. I will leave it to him because he will tell it beautifully. I know because he has said it before. Aham ananda. That vritti has to be practiced. Meanwhile, what vritti? Akhandakara vritti has to be practiced. I am Ananda Swarupa, Sachidanandoham. That vritti is not merely a thought, it is my own knowledge now. It's knowledge itself. So, not this Ananda, this is a lower grade. Second grade cement we say, no? Like that. Lower, second grade, third grade. This is not that. This is not the real thing. And you must go on chanting also. I am Ananda Swarupa. I myself. It is not the Ananda which I am experiencing as a... it is not that. It is I myself have become total Ananda. There is difference in that, which you will know when you reach that state. I hope. Let it be. Nastva nischalam nischara chittam egi kudyat prayatnada. And you have to unify it with the self again and again. Bring back the mind which goes into the world of pleasures and again bring it to union with the consciousness. That is practice. And one day, when you least expect it, it will happen. The moment you expect, when will I know the truth? When will I know the truth? Finished. You will not know. Because you are there. That I have to be dropped. I should not be there. Ego should not be there. Then it will happen. Again, when, how it happens, why it happens, we don't know. Nischara chittam. It doesn't walk out. Nischalam, you know, that immovable, mutable. Nischarati. Yedo mana. Manam by its swabhava is nischalam. But when it starts moving, then it has become, it has become the agitated mind. Whenever it is seeking pleasures in this, it becomes agitated mind. It has movement, jogging mind, let us say. I like to put it that way. Jogging, mind is jogging now. Okay. Egi kuryad. Unified with effort. What did you say, Mr. Prakash Rao? When the mind has, the instruction is never to allow it the freedom to wander about. See, it wants to wander about to the world of pleasures again. That nischara, don't allow it. Don't allow it to run out. Nischaram. Nischala, it immovable, changeless. Sukha? Radha. Sukha Raga? Sukha Raga Nivrittam. That is what I am saying. It is running out into this world for pleasure. Sukha and Raga. Stopping that. Okay. In other words, it's sort of keeping it fixed in that. Altogether, what does it mean? That don't allow it again run into the pleasure fields. Keep it fixed become aware. Keep it fixed in its goal. Is what it is. And then, when consciousness, and in case it wanders again into its natural quibblings, questionings and seeking, we are advised to gather the dissipated mental rays back again to the focal point. Again and again bring it to the focal point. When it tries to run out. Very difficult. Yeah. It is difficult. That is why many people don't like to meditate. Or this is not possible, Amma. Better is to read book. Because that's the easiest thing. But by reading book, nothing you achieve.
Maybe that if you find mind, and Nichara Chinta means don't allow it to go into that field.
That's what we have said. Don't allow it to go into this field. Dvaita field. That's what I said. And that is Sukha Ragam. Here, the attachment to Sukha and Raga. Okay. In other words, now it is attached to that. From there, Nischalam, that is its nature. Now, this is Nischalam. So, when it is unified with this, it is Nischalam. The mind also becomes Nischalam. Now, don't allow that mind to become agitated by coming down. Is it clear? We are advised to gather the dissipated mental rays back again to the focal point. So you are saying Om Namo Nara, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Focusing on that Shiva Tattva. Suddenly it goes after some Shiva mind. That is falling again in the erroneous way of thinking. So you know somebody called Shiva and he is not a very good man, then you will think of him only. Rascal. And we will make a whole reverie about that man. Now you started a meditation on Shiva and ended with some fool of a Shiva, which is falling here. And then what do? Stop. That's not that Shiva. Bhagavan. Satyaswarupa, Anandaswarupa. Like that we tell so many things about the Lord and bring it back. Okay. How is it possible? It's all difficult only, as far as I. But therein we need the grace of something other than yourself. Though it is not logical to say, the logical person, rationalist, everything you deny and in the end you superimpose something on us and say that Lord, His grace is required. You are not ready to accept. In other words, you are trying to say by my effort, By my effort only I purified the mind. By my effort only I am going there. Is it not? By my effort only I will keep it hooked on to the higher. But you can, if you listen carefully, you can hear some laughter. Adapavi. Upanishad says, no, my dear child, you cannot reach me unless I show myself. Unless I allow you to hug me and come to me in oneness, you cannot reach me. Then what to do? When every other, whatever you can do, you have done. But still you are not reaching there means, then you will pray. Because that's all you can do. The next step is that. Not only Gurudev, many great masters have pointed out that state. That state of dark, night of the realization, and then the light that envelops them when they realize. So we do not know, we have to accept it. Some things we have to accept. Why it is not reasonable? No, need not be. Bhagavan is not available for your reason. Is it not? Even love does not come under reason, then how can Bhagavan come? Suppose you say, why that fellow loves that girl? Is there any reason? He loves that. Beyond all reasons. A girl is not even good looking. What he found in her, God only knows. Like that and all we say, all types of things we say. But if you ask him, what do you find in that girl that you want to, to go against everybody's wish, he cannot answer you. It is not logical. Like God is not an object of your reasoning. Then you can give a reason. He is not going to come under logical reasoning. He is beyond logic. Bas. Beyond logic. And you cannot use this logic and find out God. A God which is defined by logic is a defiled God. He is not God. You are superior to him because you have logic. Then you are superior to God. Here and all very careful steps must be taken. Very careful. That's why many people don't even teach Mandukya. The steps that you take in this highest level of understanding must be very measured steps. But see, don't think it is a cakewalk. That's all I want to tell you. Realization is not a cakewalk. For some lucky person, it happens. Even in childhood, Shankara got realization even at the age of 9 and 10 and all. He went to Govindapadacharya and Govindapadacharya was an old man, dying almost, and he was in meditation, and he went and stood near the cave, the little boy of 9 years. And he said, who is there? And he broke into one of the most profound stuti called the Dasha Shloki. Most profound. In that he denies every, description of the Atman by his various means, by 10 shlokas it is. When he finished it, Govindacharya opened his eyes and hugged the boy and said, you are my student. That is the type of material that he was. Can you imagine that? And not only that, he died at the age of 32, according to our history that is available to us. He went from Kedar and walked out into the Himalayas and never returned. He knew he is going to leave the body, and he left. There is a place in Kedar, they show this is from where Bhagavan Shankara had walked out. And when he was going, all these students were in tears, his disciples, and said, give the final adesha. And then he chanted the same Dasha Shloki again. It's a most beautiful poem in which he denies you cannot describe Atman with any known thing in this world. So, the type of people who are, compared to them, we are all pygmies. We are pygmies compared to Shankara and Gaudapada and that type of people. Yadhana liyade chittam naja vikshipyade punaha aninganamana bhasam nishpannam brahma tattada. So he says, when will I come to this? All of you are now thinking we have reached the door of truth. When can I enter? You tell us. Even Arjuna asked the same question. Okay, the way you have explained, O Lord, is very beautiful, but when will I reach there? And Krishna very, very clever in answering. He said, Najirat. Najirat. That word is there in Gita. Before long. He didn't set a time. Before long, you will reach. Meaning thereby what? It depends on you. How quickly you want to reach there, then that quickly you will reach there. But if you are going to take a little time off, in between I'll see little TV, in between, like that, if you waste your time, you'll take more time. That is all Nachira. So, long you'll see. Here also the TA student didn't voice the question, but here Gaudapada imagines the students who might be reading Gaudapada Karika and tells the question will come in their mind when. When is it going to happen? And he answers, Yadana liyade chittam naja vikshipyade punaha. When the mind is fully awake, naliyade. When the mind is fully awake, not moving, chittam naja vikshipyade puna. And it doesn't have agitation. It doesn't have sleep nor agitation. It's ever awake. That state, stripped of the state of its state of trance and its state of desire agitations, the vikshipta manaha is not there. Vikshipade manam aninganam. Aninganam nischalam. Not moving. He attains that state which is without any movement, without any disturbance in it, the still mind. Aninganam means which has no movement in it, and samanila, which is in, what will you say? Balanced. There is no going up and down. That type of a mind. And what happens to it? Anabhasam. Nor does it shine as objects of the world, vishayas. Anabhasam means no pradibhasikam. It doesn't appear as vishayas. It is not the vishaya of anything. It is not getting that vishaya. Grahya, grahaga bhavam is not there. Where the subject and object relationship has died. Then what is there? Only that pure mind. And what is a pure mind? Pure consciousness. When all that happens, mind itself is consciousness, pure consciousness. He says, Nishpannam Brahma Tattada. That person attains Brahman. When all these things happen in your inner personality, then you have attained Brahman. Not that you are jumping with joy because I am experiencing great joy, and that means it is still. Do you know that mind can be disturbed even with joy? Joy also can irritate it. Just as sorrow can be agitated, vasanas can agitate it, but even great joy can agitate it. Jumping up and down with joy, we say, no? When the body is jumping up and down, your mind is jumping still further. Oh, none of this moment. That mind says, mind which is still. And not only it is a still mind, it is like a flame in a windless place. Suppose you keep a deepam with the flame in a windless state, it will burn so towards that. Always, why the flame? Flame is always showing you that is your path. It is not down. It is up. Attains that Brahma Surupam doesn't shine as a Vishaya in a pluralistic world. It doesn't shine Brahma Tattada. It is Brahman. At that moment it is Brahman. It has attained that Egi Bhavam. Brahman, that what we have understood from this verse is, when the mind has attained that samyavastha, that avastha of stillness, and there is no, appearance in it. It doesn't appear as this or that or vishayas or happy or unhappy, nothing. It has gone beyond all the opposites. That mind is really in Brahma Anubhava. That is Brahma Anubhava. Nishpannam, no more, it verily becomes Nishpannam, gets that Brahmi Sthiti, he attains Brahmanubhavam. Brahmanubhavam comes to him, to that man whose mind has become totally quiet. Now our mind is sometimes quiet. Is it not? But that is different. If you understand that, we will see that stand for the self at the time of self-realization. Tat-tada is said there. Tat-tada Brahma, Nishpannam Brahma. Now they are looking because it came only to stop us. So don't look now. Tat means that and tada means then. The word tat is used as a pronoun to indicate the supreme, all-pervading consciousness which has been so far indicated by all the Upanishads and which seems to the sadhak in his early days of mere intellectual study as something far away from himself to be indicated by the pronoun that. Thus, the truth that was explained by our gurus had been understood as that reality. That, tad. How do we explain Brahman? Tad. So, because at the moment when the mind reaches the above-mentioned conditions, it was available for our intimate, subjective experience as one with that reality. Now it is not that I am. Now it is me, myself. It is not something sitting somewhere in the heaven, judging all of us. Not that. I have realized that Egi Bhavam with Brahman, which is called the Brahma Anubhava. In other words, the one who went in search of Brahman has become Brahman. Brahmavid Brahmaiva bhavati. There is no two, there is only one. At least mathematically you will understand, I hope. Before you were two, the mind which has gone in search. You understand? And when it reached there, what happened? It became merged in that. Brahmanubhavam is merging of the mind into its source, which is consciousness. So now what is there? Only pure consciousness. Then it's only a rudimentary mind you have after that. Whenever you want something for the body to eat, or it is said about Jivan Mukta that he becomes aware of his body only when he is little hungry. Then he comes out and the mind comes out searching for food or getting food or eating it. Otherwise he is not in his body yet. He has become pure Brahman. He has become, and all are wrong words. You must know that. No becoming. Then be. Becoming is always samsara. Becoming means bhava, to become. That is samsara. This is not samsaric becoming, but it is being. I am. Okay. All this read well, then you will understand something. Read 2, 3. If you didn't understand, read again and again these verses. These are verses where realization is, pointed out, not said anything. You cannot say. Pointed out. They are all pointers to truth. That much only we can understand. 2 more verses. Swastham Shantam Sanirvanam Agadhyam Sukam Uttamam Ajamajena Jneyena Sarvajñam Parichakshade. Swastham. Swastham means sosya sthiti. Established in himself. Swastham. Now, like Gurudev will say, chair stham means sitting in the chair. Prakriti stham means established in the Prakriti. He becomes the creator of, in Gita. So also here, swastham. Sosmin sthiti. He is in himself. Now he has gone out of his real state and gone here and there and became a wandering jiva. Now what happened? He came back. The return of the prodigal son. He came back to his home. Gurudev will say, hurry home. Hurry home. Not Hari Om. What is home? My home is the Atman, the self. And he reaches there, Swastham, and now he is reveling in himself. Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. That revelry, you have come to own the Atman. And the highest bliss is based upon the rediscovery of the self. That self-forgetfulness is gone. And I have come back to remembrance of my true nature. And where am I? Sosya sthiti. Sosya sthane sthiti. That is called swasthaha. When you are, what is it? Yoga Institute is called Swasthyam. What? Swasthyam? Huh? Yeah, I think so. What is Swasthyam? When you are established in yourself, you are in where you should be. When you go out of it, you are all sick. Mentally, physically, emotionally, intellectually. But when you are resting on yourself, you are swastha. Swasthyam is a beautiful word in Sanskrit. When you are in your, in your place, then there is no disease. Disease is not there. You are at ease. You are at ease there. That is why it is called swastham. Based upon that rediscovery of my real self, shantam in oneself. And shantam sanirvanam. Sanirvanam there is videha mukti. Videha mukti. It's peace identical with liberation. Nirvana, liberation, indescribable and unborn. Who am I? All he is explaining. I am that, I am this. The joy of the illumined. The joy of the illumined. And he, Atma Ramaha, he just sings the glory of that realization. Sukham uttamam. And what type of a sukha it is? Atyandigam. Sukham atyandigam yattat buddhi grahyam adindriyam in Gita. Atyandigam sukham. Atyandigam means there is no end, endless joy. Not a momentary joy, but endless joy. Atyandigam sukham yattat buddhi grahyam adindriyam. It is not an indriya joy. It is not the joy which you get by the vapara of the indriyas. It is a joy which comes to you by buddhi grahyam. Which buddhi? Purified mind intellect. Not the kachada buddhi. Then which buddhi? Buddhi grahyam. Because only in the intellect realization will take place. And in this bhumi and in the waking state. Please remember these three things. That in this bhumi only you are going to get realized. And it will be, when realization takes place, it will be in the Shuddha Sattva intellect. Intellect which has been cleaned of all ego and all types of, what can I say? Pride, that manam, amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, chandira, arjava, all these are the qualities of the impure intellect. All that is gone, that pure intellect. In that pure intellect, you attain that sanirvanagam, akadhyam, and he say, shandim nirvana paramam matsamstam adhigacchati. Again in Gita, shantim nirvana paramam, parama nirvanam, that highest state of realization I achieve. Matsamstam adhigacchati, and they come to my state, says the Lord in Gita. So, unborn and one with the jnanam. Jnayena ajamajena jnayena sarvajnam. I become as only little jiva or little mind, which I always thought in terms of difference from the consciousness. Now I become one with the consciousness, and the little jiva or the little mind has blown up to engross the total, and there is no more littleness about it. Bhuma they say in Māṇḍukya Upaniṣad. That state I attain, unborn and one with the jnanam, ajam ajena jnayena sarvajnam parichakshade. Further described as the omniscient Brahman. Jnaya sarvajnam, for it is one with the unborn self, which is the object of knowledge absolute. That is the jnaya vastu. Jnaya vastu, the great knowable. And who knows? Same aja. Ajena jnayena, the knowledge which is not born, the knowledge was ever there. And Ajena ajam ajena jneyena sarvajnam parichakshate. When you have come, but one ajam is jneyam. The jneya vastu, unborn self, which is the object of knowledge, absolute. Absolute knowledge is also ajam. It is not a knowledge which is born, knowledge which was always there. Hence it is also called ajam. One who knows that, sarvajnam parichakshate, he becomes sarvajnan, described as the omniscient Brahman. That is my true nature. So who are you? Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God. Who are you? You, papam shantam. No upacharam. All that upacharam, give up. Ajay. Vacant? In the waking state. Not in deep sleep state. Nobody has realized in the deep sleep state. Is it clear? So what should you do? One day I am going to realize the truth. And my intellect and mind should be like a crystal. Then only you will realize. Why the mana shuddhi is so very important. The whole sadhana is only to purify the mind. In that purified mind, that itself is Brahman. Realization takes place without any further effort on your part. The Paramatma reflects in that purified mind-intellect equipment. Now why should there be an intellect for realization? Because pure knowledge, pure consciousness needs a reflecting medium for you to, if you want to realize it, there should be something on which it should be reflected. You understand? Now the pure light is reflected in this mic. So I can see the mic. But if the mic is not there, how do I know that there is light? There may be light, but there is nothing to catch that light. Have you understood? There may be light. Samanya light is everywhere. But I cannot know there is light. Only when there is some reflecting medium, I know there is light. Similarly, only when an object is there can be, and that is why in that the little curved vessel called the intellect, we realize. Don't tell, is it logical? It is. If we know this much from science, then you must apply it to Vedanta also. In light also, pure light, unless it is reflected in a medium, you cannot see it at all. Pure light is not available for the perception. Even light has got very limited. Very close also you can't see. Very far away also you can't see. There are so many rules for all that. Similarly here, in the intellect only, you are going to apprehend it one day. Buddhigrahyam, adindriyam, and it is not to be gained by indriyas. However perfect you make your indriyas, indriya can only see vishayas. You understand? Nicely you can see. Put a progressive glasses, you can see very well. What? What will you see? The mithya world. That you will see. Do you understand? But you want to see Brahman who is behind the eyes, na? I am the eye of the eye. What you have to have? It is totally different. Continuing, he says, na kaschid jayade jivaha sambhavosya na vidyade edat taduttamam satyam yatra kinchinna jayade. So, summarizing the whole thing, Gaudapada says, na kaschid jayade jivaha. There is no jiva. It took so many verses to tell us there is no jiva. Jiva is a kalpana. Okay? The question is whether it is one jiva or many jivas. We are saying no jiva. All arguments have ended there. Gaudapada says, which jiva? Jiva is never born. Gadakasha, the pot space is never born. You are imagining a pot space. For that, what can we do? You are imagining there is a jiva in me and it is getting hurt. My jiva is my jiva. My jiva is not me. My mind is not me. My body is not me. When you say madiyatvad, they are not you. So, edat taduttam jivaha na kaschid jayade jivaha sambhavosya na vidyade. There is no reason for it to be born. If you say jiva is born, then you must see why should it be born. Sambhava, asya sambhava na vidyade. There is no karanam for it. We can do without a jiva, actually. You understand? Na sambhava. Here he says this stanza summarizes the very core of Gaudapada's philosophy of non-creation, and he calls it ajadivada. What his contribution to the world of philosophy is? Nothing is born, everything is only an appearance. That is his ajadivada. And what about jiva? Jiva also is not born. Because there is no, something is born in nature, it must have some reason to be there. But what is the reason for jiva to be there? I don't see any reason, he says. There are no two masters. Ajadivada is the platform of Gaudapada and of sage Vasishtha in Yoga Vasishtha. So, they are the two masters explaining to us the old school of Vedanta as contrasted with Sri Shankara. The modern system which started with Shankara is the new system of Vedanta. But Gaudapada lived much before Shankara and belonged to the old system of Vedanta. And initiated the new school of Vedanta wherein he accepts a relative reality. Shankara accepts mithya. But Gaudapada doesn't accept even mithya. Because the Bhashya says so, the Karikas says so, for want of a better, it is only Vivartam. If you say Gaudapada accepts Vivartavada, it is true. But it doesn't accept the Midhyavada. Midhyavada came with Shankara. So, all this is there included in that verse. They do not come down to our plane even. Here, Gurudev writes, Gaudapada and Vasishtha are natives of reality. That is their house. Okay? They do not come down to our plane even as a holiday maker. Why should they come to this stupid Asugham Anityam Lokam? They don't come. Sitting where they are, they beckon to us and looking through their glass of wisdom, they see in us also nothing but themselves. What is Gaudapada's theory? In every mind-intellect mirror, what is shining is the Atma Chaitanyam, which is not different from one person to another, and hence we are contributing to Egatma Vada, not Ega Jiva Vada. Because once having denied the birth of Jiva and the reason for its birth, how can we say Eka Jiva or Bahu Jiva? They seen as also nothing. Having had the vision of the post-wise one will have to decry the delusory agitation of the ghost-seeing fool. One wise man who had seen the post will always laugh at the fool who had seen a ghost in that post. Sthanu Purusha. Sanskrit word for that is Sthanu, the post. Purusha, there is ghost. Oh, there is no ghost at all. Having had the vision of the post wise, this is exactly what Gaudapada is doing. Delved in consciousness, reveling in consciousness, living in consciousness as consciousness. What is his experience? All this. The great master of every heart, reigning the realm of all, in his vision has no world of objects separate from himself. Here in this concluding stanza of this chapter, we have the entire philosophy of Gaudapada summarized in a multi-spiritual tablet. Very costly tablet. Multi-spiritual. Is it not? Nowadays even tablets are so expensive, some tablets. Antibiotic is not as costly as anti-cancer, anti-that, and all those are very, very expensive. So also here is a medicine for all our illnesses of samsara. And what is that? Multi-spiritual tablet. And this is the central theme of the... Gurudev is so funny, I can't tell you. He says all the medicines are called erythromycin, that mycin. They are all because of your sins. The medicines are for because you have committed so many sins. Lived unintelligently. So the medicines are all called. How did the Englishman know all this? He will say. Because the words are so matching. Okay. Here in this concluding, this is the central theme of Glossary's philosophy, that nothing is ever born, not because nothing is the ultimate reality, as the doctors of voidness, Shunyavadins, cry in the Buddhist school of philosophy, but because the self alone is the reality. How beautiful it is. The Buddhists were shouting, nothing is there. When we reach that, in meditation we reach the highest state, blankness. Then Acharya Shankara asked only one question, who is seeing the void? One question, they were dumped. Who is seeing this void? That only I am interested in. I am not interested whether he is seeing void or whether he is seeing a mind full of thoughts or mind without thoughts. What difference does it make? And in that question only he defeated the Shunyavadis. In fact, he is going to say in Aladi Shanti that Yogacharas, one set of Buddhists, Gaudapada went with them for a long time because suitable for our philosophy. And then when they made this statement that everything is shunyam, then he changed his stance, crossed the floor and said, here we go our different ways. And they did. Okay. Origination is mere hallucination. Non-origination is the only reality, the supreme truth. If one, however, sees plurality and seeks after a cause for it, he shall be seeking for the footprints of the birds in the sky. If you are asking for a karanam, then you go and find out the footprints of the birds in the sky. Can we see? There are no footprints in the sky. No, nothing is born, and hence we cannot intellectually find a fit and appropriate cause for it. Gaudapada says that there is no cause from it. Plurality could rise only from some cause, but nothing exists other than the highest truth. And hence there is no cause, therefore nothing has ever been born. Suits us. One by one you don't have to remove, because at one shot everything is gone. Don't have to go on plucking one grass and another. By the time you will reach there, here it will grow again. So, this is the truth, this is Uttamam Satyam, he says. This is the highest truth. Sambhavosena edad tad Uttamam Satyam. That is the Uttamam Satyam. Yatra kinchin na jayate. Nothing is born. Nothing is born, and hence we cannot find. Therefore, but nothing exists other than the higher truth. Therefore, nothing has ever been born. The 4th chapter is called Alada Shanti, and dealing with Ajadivada in detail in the 4th chapter. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamahadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti.